Hello everyone, I80-386SX, and you are staring at a Panasonic Toughbook. That's more by name than it is actually a tough book, but regardless, we have another Panasonic Toughbook on our hands. If you watch my other video, I recently posted one about a Panasonic CF-48. It's a little tiny thing. This computer came with that little tiny CF-48. This is computer number 2 out of, I want to say, 7 or so. Came from a AFLAC office in Wisconsin. The 3 of the machines were old Macs in the 80s, Macintosh IICIs, and there was 2 NCR 486 towers, and they all went to better homes than mine. There were people that wanted them and were able to enjoy them, so they went off to a new home. The Toughbooks, for whatever reason, have since stayed behind. So anywho, let's go look at this monstrosity. I believe it's over 6 pounds, but until we confirm or deny that either way, this is indeed a Panasonic Toughbook as illustrated in the bottom here, a CF-48. It's got the keyboard on this thing. It's got one of those old school keyboards. That's always nice. It's kind of a charm with most Toughbooks is that they are a little bit behind in the world of technology. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But in that case, with the old school keyboards, this is a good thing, because everything's trying to go flatter and flatter, and they're trying to be like Mr. Cook and over at Apple and do all this invisible whatever. Yeah, I'm not a fan of what modern computers are turning into, and we have old school mouse buttons that are actual buttons. We got a Pentium 4 designed for Windows XP. And here in the front you have sound and microphone. You have battery indicator lights, and I presume that this is a power of some kind, or a power LED. And you got 2 card bus slots on the left side of the machine. Pretty standard stuff for the early 2000s. And then in the back you have VGA, serial, network, modem, parallel, 2 USBs, PS2, and the power brick. Now this machine, unlike most Panasonic Toughbooks, you could hook up, say, an IBM ThinkPad AC adapter, at least for the ones that go for the IBM T40 series, 30 series, and maybe 20 series. That is not such the case here. This one takes a little bit bigger. I believe this one does have some more aggressive power requirements, so that's probably why it was done in such a way. There's one. If you're a retro person like myself, there is the next thing you'll like. You have a combination. You have the CD-ROM. In this case, we have a DVD-ROM and a 3.5-inch floppy. I can't verify either way. I haven't looked that hard. But the bad news is this may be a belt-driven floppy, so at some point that belt may go, unless I'm staring at that totally wrong. We're not going to go into it in this video today. Let's look underneath and see what the good AFLAC folks gifted us years and years ago. First things first, let's flip it up right. Your battery is right here, and it's very simple to get it out. And I guarantee this is definitely not waterproof. Unlike the actual Panasonic Toughbooks, if you leave them out in a rainstorm, they'll turn on and there'll be no issue. And there you go. There is your battery. It's a big boy, 5.4 amps, but this is basically a desktop replacement. Clips right in. Right here is the hard drive. This is very easy to get to as well. And I believe it may even be the original. It's also an IDE drive. I haven't tried doing anything with, say, the compact flash to IDE or the, the micro SATA, mSATA to IDE technology on this thing. The latter is especially hit or miss on older machines. This looks like a thicker Toshiba, or maybe the caddy makes it look thicker than what it is. I don't know, but either way, it is some kind of Toshiba drive that came with it, which, if a Toshiba is anything like they are today, that's too bad for a machine that's really expensive like this. But I am not here to gripe about Toshiba or anything else today. Maybe in another video I will gripe about them, but not right now. Right here you have RAM, and I'm not going to take it apart, but there is a 512 megabyte chip. It's a DDR1 PC2100, and it came with a Windows 2000 Professional certificate of authenticity. And underneath here, if you want to replace a wireless card, that's where that resides. I'm not going to take this cover off because I kind of broke it before the video, and I don't want to go into that again and break it even worse. And you do have a spot for a docking station right here, which makes sense because this machine is basically a desktop replacement. And if I haven't said it already, this laptop comes at a healthy 7.48 pounds. That is almost 2 full pounds more than your compact LTE Lite from the early 90s. Crazy. But again, this is a desktop replacement, so that's got to be expected. So let's turn this thing on. Provided, it does hold a charge. I can't complain about that. Alright, so we got a mobile Pentium 4 at 1.8 gigahertz. It has 768 megabytes of RAM. I believe that is the max. I could be wrong. Anywho, so it is a 20 gigabyte hard drive, and we saw that that hard drive was a Toshiba. Let's see if we can find anything else whatsoever about this machine. So, English, the CMOS battery is still good. You can disable and enable your parallel or serial port. I don't know why you would want to disable any of those unless you have some issues with IRQs and channels not being available. Just trying to figure out what we got going on here. Okay, and we got wake from LAN, just a standard specialty stuff here. There is a temperature thing here. Let's see what the environment. So this is a semi-tough book, if you want to call it that. And it's nothing special by any stretch of the imagination, but they do keep industrial areas in mind. I don't know what the difference is unless it tells us here. When high temperature is selected, the battery is not charged to full, so it'll be at 80% capacity or below. I don't know if that really kills heat, or if 100% charged battery kills them in heat. I don't know, but apparently it does. So, boot menu does say floppy drive specifically, which is nice, and especially for something of this late. Now, if there is any data on here from AFLAC, I am going to cut the video. And it does have Windows XP on it. This is not a fast hard drive. That I did remember from back when I worked on this thing, when AFLAC still had it. goodness, this thing is slow. And the battery light just illuminated red, so we will plug this thing in now. And oh, there's a password on it. I have no idea what that password possibly could even be. Alright, we are now plugged in, and now the battery light went from red to orange. Now the question is, if this is one of mine, this is one of the few passwords that may or may not work. Oh! If you're looking for any personal data from AFLAC today, I have some really bad news for you. You're not going to get any. And it says Norton Ghost on it, so I must have tried to use this as a ghost host at one point. And we have phone messages, we have some random drivers on this machine, Mechatronic PCM-CIA. Drop stuff. We got a DOS file on here. We got all sorts of fun goodies on here. So maybe I'll have to refresh my memory and see. Maybe this thing is a little bit more capable than I thought. And I noticed this number 5060. Now, to a newcomer, that number means absolutely nothing to you. But for those that have watched my channel, or for those that are inclined to do it, you can make your own dial-up service at home. It's no substitute for a POTS line, but that 5060 line is something that I created at home to have dial-up for my retro machines that absolutely can't use Ethernet, or for other little fun retro experiments. This computer, since I left that connection on there, that tells me that this machine has a real modem, or it's real enough where it can work for that experiment. So if you're looking for something cheap, if you're lucky, this CF-48 may be an option for you. So let's go to the device manager and let's see if there's any other unique hardware about this machine. So we got batteries, that's probably been pretty standard. Microsoft compliant. Advanced configuration, ooh, fancy. And yeah, this is a 20 gig drive. I don't know if this one's any good or bad. At one point, Toshiba did make some pretty good stuff. And this has a mobility Radeon 9000. Now, granted, I don't follow those graphics card properties all that closely, so I don't honestly know if that's good or bad for back in the day. Knowing Panasonic, that's probably a little bit behind, but you're not using a Panasonic Toughbook typically for gaming. You're using them to work. This is a great office machine. It's a great desktop replacement, and this is a 7500 AGP. Put in the comment section if you know for sure if this was good or bad during the day. I don't know if it is, so you'll have to let me know. At the end of the day, especially with XP and earlier, unless I'm trying to do something with a particular game, I just need display. So let's see if this LCD that's built in can go to 1280 by 1024. It looks like the option is there. It looks like it cannot. So we're gonna hit no. So the LCD itself is not much. And it's a name brand DVD-ROM. I think it's a Panasonic owned company. Let's see, it's Intel RAID, or no, it's a storage controller, not RAID. I don't know why I said RAID, but nothing fancy here. And a modem is a semi-interesting one. This is a Win modem, and it connects to that dial-up service. So that's special, but maybe some are better than others, no doubt. We have a wireless G card in here, and the standard Realtek RTL 8139, very versatile card back in the day. You saw them on a lot of desktops and laptops, cool. Pentium 4M. Sound card is an Intel AC97, so this predates that high definition audio. which I know some of the real old school folks really absolutely hate. And it looks like this is a USB 1.1 only. I'm going to grab a random flash drive. If it has anything bad on it that the world shouldn't see, I am going to cut the video. And, you know, everybody knows it takes a minimum of 3 times to plug in a flash drive when you're looking straight at it. How are we going to fare going blind? Well, so we did it once. 2. Alright, so we are not faring well at this exercise at all. So let us six times, folks. And sure enough, it says that this device can perform faster, and go look for a USB 2.0 port. There are no high-speed ports available on this computer. So yeah, it's just USB 1.1. There's good thing there is absolutely nothing of significant value on this flash drive, so I don't have to censor anything out, so that's always good. In fact, this is some pretty crappy content on this flash drive, depending on who you ask. So yeah, that pretty much settles it for now, I guess. Looks like a very bare bones operation. It's got a hard drive that's half full. The floppy, which the last time I did check it, it did read and write just fine, so there is no problem there. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or constructive commentary, please feel free to leave them in the comments section. As always, thank you for watching another exciting, you can call it vintage computer video.